Hey guys, welcome back to Broken Journey, the podcast. I am your host, Elba. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you're having a wonderful day so far. Guys, today we have our special guest who is returning to give us some updates on his business. His name is Carlos Betances, and he's with Jazrae Wear. Hey, Carlos.
Hey, thank you for having me again.
Yes, I'm excited. I can't wait to hear all the new things that are coming up. And I'm
Nice. Thank you.
happy. Yes, and I'm happy. I'm happy that you are here and returning. So, I know that you got some news for us. So why don't you just get started?
Yeah, I mean, a lot has happened since our first podcast that we did.
Yes.
Um, I think then I was just getting not my feet wet, but I was still thinking of ideas to better the brand and try to make stuff for people to like. But now, since that podcast, we've released what we call our raised collection.
Okay.
Um, so
Yes.
it's Harlem raised, Bronx raised,
Right.
Queens. So any way you were raised, that we try to accommodate everybody on those collections, and they've been doing very very well. So
Yes, I saw that. I like that. And then so you have new development, you have new apparel, and I know you also had, if I'm not mistaken, I think I saw a sweatsuit set, right?
yeah, we started the sweatsuits. They did very well.
Right,
We started the Jazrae Trust No One collection as well,
right.
which was super dope. We took the J and the R and we put the Trust No One across the JR.
Okay,
And that was doing really good with the jumpsuits.
right.
Um, we
I like
also,
them.
yeah, those are really nice. A lot of people was ordering those.
Right.
Uh,
If I didn't live
which
in Florida, I probably would have ordered some too, but it's too hot over here.
you got to wait for the t-shirts, right?
Right, right. I did get a sweater. I mean, it does get a little chilly. I mean, you know, for us, chilly over here is about 65, like that. That's chilly. So I can wear like a sweater, but to wear like a sweatsuit, yeah, I
Yeah, and I
can't.
mean, a lot of people from Florida were ordering like the hoodies because at
Right.
night it does get a little chilly, which is
Yes.
cool.
Yeah.
That's why I had posted something a while back. If you think that hoodies are all year round,
Right.
um,
Well,
I
you know
think it is.
what? And it's funny that you say that, right? Because me, I'm thinking about me like, no, it's too hot, whatever. But you'll be surprised how kids go to school with hoodies and shorts and
Yeah,
sandals over here in Florida. So you're absolutely right, but for me, I feel like, it doesn't the cold doesn't last that long for me to, always wear hoodies and sweaters and like
right.
that. But I do love them, like especially like when I go to see my son, where he lives in the panhandle, and it's colder up there than it is down here in Tampa.
Oh, okay.
So, you know, I do wear
No
them sometimes.
worries. I mean, we do have t-shirts. I'm rolling out the new t-shirts very soon. We
Yeah,
got a lot of great designs, just simple but pretty
right.
dope to match your sneakers.
Yes.
We just launched our sunglasses.
Oh, I saw
Um,
that. They look so
yeah,
cool. I love
yeah.
that.
They first day I put them out there. They sold quick,
Okay.
so I had to re up and get some new ones made. But
Right.
I was very excited about that.
Yes.
And again, that where that comes from. That comes from
Mm.
who always wore
I
shades, my
know.
brother.
Let me tell you.
So
As soon as I saw those shades, I have to be honest with you. I got like a little sentimental because it reminded me of your brother Pedro. I was like, oh my God, the black ones. I was like, yeah, that
yeah,
was
that's him.
Pedro. That was Pedro, 100%. one
And
hundred
that's
percent.
the whole thing is that, and like I told you on the first podcast, is
Yep.
that everything that I do is always going to revolve around him. So he's
Yes.
always going to live forever through
Right.
me. Um, So when we did the shades, it was something that I was like, you know what, it's time. We had spoke about it in the past,
Right.
me and him.
Yeah.
Um, so it was something that I was like, you know what, I think it's time. You know, the summer's coming. Why
Yes.
not?
Yes.
And they dope, man. The
They
materials dope.
are. They are
Uh,
so
I,
beautiful.
we launched some women ones as well, so I'm
Yeah.
excited about that as well. So
I know. And I have my Bronx Raised shirt, so I've been wearing it around. As a
see?
matter of fact, I was going to visit my son because he was getting deployed, so we wanted to see him before he left. And I
Right.
had my Bronx Raised shirt, and I was at a little Spanish store here that I went to go get coffee. It was early in the morning, so I went to go get some café con leche, and I
There
was
you go.
like, and I had my shirt, and this lady looked at me. She was like, "What part of the Bronx you're from?" I was like, "Okay, this is raising questions." And she was like, "I really like your shirt." So I mentioned, your website and stuff like that. And I said, you can
Thank
find
you.
Bronx. You're welcome. I said, you can find Bronx, Brooklyn, New York. I was like, upstate, if you whatever you want. I said he has custom shirts, so he'll do anything custom for you. And she was like, "Okay, thank you."
And that's the thing too is we get a lot of people that order those raised shirts because
Right,
they live out of town, but they were raised in New York or
right,
wherever the case may be. So
right,
those are pretty much the audience that we get from that.
right,
Um, but also too a lot of great things we did. We donated about 50 shirts to a women's shelter.
that's
Um,
awesome.
which was super dope. So it was a way of me, giving back with a little bit that, the support gave me. So I figured,
Right,
I'd give it back.
right,
And that was
definitely.
super dope. I felt so good about that, man. Just to
Right?
have,
Doesn't
yeah,
that
just to
feel
have that
so good?
opportunity.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
awesome. That feels so good. Giving back to your community or because okay, fine, you're from New York, right? But where you live at is where you should be, giving back to, right? And giving back to your community and especially, to women in a shelter, that is amazing.
And I am going to be giving back uh to where I came from as well.
Right,
I have an opportunity um to do something good, and
right,
that for me is probably the biggest journey of why I want to continue to keep doing this.
right,
On top of it keeps me entertained, it keeps me going, it keeps my mind flowing. So
right.
for me
And it gives you
giving the
a
chance,
purpose, right? It gives you that purpose.
yeah, yeah. Plus it allows me to let the people know that when you support me, it goes to a good cause.
Right.
So that's pretty dope. And I know
Yeah.
last time we spoke, I don't know if I told you, but any shirts that were bought from my brother, I was gonna donate to the
Right.
kids, and I was able to do that as well. So they
That
were
is
they were pretty
awesome.
excited about that, and they thanked me. So
That's
I just want
awesome.
to make sure that I continue, to do good, to make sure that the brand
Right.
continues to be different than everybody else. Because with the little bit that we got and the little bit of support that we're getting, we
Right.
still gonna continue to give back. So that's the best part about it.
Of course. And never say little because every little thing counts. So it's not a little, right? You're giving back and that's what's most important. Not everybody does that,
Right,
right?
and little, I mean by like I just want to keep that mind frame so I
Right.
know nothing goes over my head. So
Okay,
every
you want to
day's a
stay humble.
grind.
You basically
Yeah,
want to
yeah,
stay
yeah. So it keeps me there, and I want people to know that just because you start a small business, and you get and again I say a little
right.
bit of momentum, to
Right.
always stay humble and stay on your grind every time. Because I have
Right.
to be honest with you, and this is another reason why I do what I'm doing, is people message me and say, "Hey, you gave me inspiration to want to
Yeah.
do these things." Like, I go in
That's
my inbox
awesome.
and there's people inboxing me like, "Yo, man, thank you. You brought out something that I've been wanting to do for a long time, and I've been seeing you doing it, and now I want to do it."
That's
And
awesome.
yeah, and that's the type of stuff that motivates me.
Of
um,
course, yeah.
and keep
And,
going.
being
So
an inspiration to somebody else is always something good, right?
it
Um,
is.
yeah. And so, how are you now approaching, marketing and branding and involving, since we last spoke?
Well, we actually got a new person that joined the team, which is my cousin. His name is Ed. Shout out to Ed. You
Hi,
know, he reached
Ed.
out to yeah, he reached out to me, which was dope, and he said, "Hey, I want to be a part of it. You know, what can I do?" So he
Awesome.
handles our sales and operations
That's
and some of
great.
the marketing.
Right.
So again, we're laying down the ground game to, expand and
Right.
get it more out there than
Right.
what it is now. So, big up to Ed who, took it without even saying, what I gotta pay him or anything. He just did it for the love.
Right.
And
And
when the
laying the
opportunity comes,
foundation is important, right?
it
Because
is.
that's
It
what
really is.
brings, you want to have a solid foundation in order for you to keep growing. So that's amazing. That's
Yeah, and
amazing.
it's amazing because he came in a time where you got to understand that what people don't see behind the scenes is that it's me marketing, it's me making the shirts.
Yep.
Unless you order from online, depending what you order, then it
Right.
goes through like a drop shipping.
Okay.
Um, so they, I give them my design, they give me the merchandise, and we take it from there. But 9 out
Right.
of 10, the customs, like I do the custom patches now, which are super
Right.
dope.
Yes.
And that hoodie alone takes me like an hour or two just to try to get it right,
Perfect. Right.
and sometimes it doesn't come out right. Sometimes I
Good.
have people that hit me back and say, "Hey, this happened, but my customer service is at 1,000, so
Right.
no problem. Boom, we're gonna send you another one. We make sure it's good
Awesome.
to go." So
Right. And then, what I love about that hoodie is that it just doesn't have one little design, right? You have different patches all over the place representing,
yes,
like, if that person is like from 134th Street, like, you put
hmm
Broadway or you put whatever. And I feel like that is true to the person and they feel the love on, when they purchase that, right? Because
right, and
go
hmm
ahead.
no, no, and then exactly what you was gonna say. I was gonna piggyback off of that. Was you're right, and that's the feeling that when I'm making it,
Right.
that's the feeling that I get. Like you representing where you from.
Right.
You showing and you telling people this is where I'm from, and that feeling is amazing. I mean,
It
it,
is. It
it's a
is.
great feeling.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. Um, Now, how do you stay inspired and creative in designing, your new collection or, products for your brand?
That's a great question. To be honest, I get a lot of feedback. I have people messaging me, giving me ideas.
Uh-huh.
So that keeps me going. Or usually when I'm not doing anything or I don't have an order to fulfill, I'm
Right.
playing around with the computer, putting designs together
Right.
to see what I could come up with. Um, but
Awesome.
I'm always, even when I'm walking by myself, I'm talking to myself about, oh, how would this design look? Or and I got this certain color. How would this look on this T-shirt? What
Right.
can I do that's different than what I'm already selling?
Okay.
And that keeps me inspired. And then when people give me feedback like, yo, it's dope, we appreciate what you're doing, that even gives me more feedback. And in all the podcasts that I've done, I've never gave a shout out to this person who, and not because on purpose, but I usually forget, but he motivates me. And that's my boy, Dave. He always checks up on me to make sure, hey, what's going on? What you got going on? Or I'll send him some stuff that I have, and he's honest, so he'll
Right.
give me his approval, and
Awesome.
and that's dope. It's just people that know I'm doing it, that want to get involved. That keeps me inspired to keep
Right.
doing it. So
Right. And then when you have someone who is like on your side and they're able to give you good, constructive criticism,
right,
and that you take it well, right? Because sometimes sometimes we tend to not want to listen to anybody else, but sometimes you got to think outside the box. And if you're inside the box and it's you don't feel the motivation, somebody could
Right.
tell you, hey, switch it up here with this, switch this up, switch that up. And that'll bring out that it'll kind of like make you blossom more, right?
Yeah, and to be honest, not everything is perfect. So I know that,
Of course.
when we doing this type of stuff, there is gonna be people that, that don't approve of it, or don't like it, or I might make a hoodie and the hoodie might not be the best when they
Right.
get it. But those are growing pains.
Of
Those are the
course.
things, right? Those are the things that I learned from, right? Because I'm not gonna go through this journey being perfect.
No.
And so for me, those mistakes are critical, because you don't want the customer to be like, what, I'm not gonna buy from this guy. He already sent me a hoodie and it was no good. I wanna make sure that, when even if that hoodie's no good, that that we're gonna replace that hoodie and make it 20 times better.
Right. Right. And not
So,
only that, like it's like you said, it's growing pains. When and let's talk about the big companies, right?
hmm
When they make designs, fortunately for them, they have the money to spend and make samples, right?
right.
I remember when I used to work in New York, I used to go to sample sales. I used to get expensive name brand products like for clothing and stuff like that. I
hmm
used to get it really cheap. Why? Because the seam was off, or because the zipper was off, or because the button was crooked. And
Right.
obviously, they're not going to sell that, right? But that's where you start, right? Unfortunately,
Correct.
for us who are small business people, we have to take the loss, right? But
Yes.
little by little, you start learning, okay, wait, I need to shift this a little bit more so that it can go into the middle, right? Like the design could go into the middle. Or
Right.
I got to bring this down a little bit so that it's not up near their neck, right? Kind of thing.
Right.
So I
Right. No, and that's the big challenge, is making sure, that all that stuff lines up correctly when you're doing this, right?
right,
Because I don't have somebody else that could do it. When
right,
somebody places an order, a custom order, it's me doing it. I'll sit here a whole Saturday from the morning till 10 at night. If I get 7 hoodies, I'm knocking those hoodies out on that whole Saturday to have
right,
it shipped for Monday. So in that 7 hoodies, there's gonna be mistakes made.
right.
I try to keep them at a minimum, but it
Mhm.
happens, and I let the customer know, hey, listen, at the end of the day, that's on us, so we're gonna fix that.
Right. That's
So
awesome.
and I think that's paved the way to people saying, what, it's a small business and I trust it, and
Right.
and and the guy that owns it is reachable. So it's not like, I'm behind the scenes, and I'm
Right, or
reachable. I
you're
even
not
as a,
responding. There's
right,
there's some
right.
people who have situations where, unfortunately, when you're a small business and you have orders rolling in back to back to back to back, sometimes, things fall to the wayside, right? Where,
hmm
you know, okay, I haven't checked my emails, in 2 days or whatever. And unfortunately, people don't realize that, and they wanna how do you say that? They wanna shit on your company, right?
Right. Or they,
Just
or they,
like
the expectations that, or, you're right, you're right. And
right?
also too, the expectations could be, um,
A
their
Walmart. I'm
mind,
not Walmart.
like, this is a big company. Like, yeah,
Right.
like, I'm not Walmart. I'm not Gucci. I'm not,
Right.
I'm a guy
Exactly.
from the
Uh,
living room, from the
exactly.
room, who made a little office, and is making things happen. So,
Right. I'm not
um,
Neiman Marcus. You know what I
and
mean? Where
that's
they have
and that get
20
and
people
right.
on customer service calls.
And that's no fault to them either, because
Right.
we all like that. So
Right.
we want something, and we want it done a certain way, and
Right.
expectations come a long way. So
Right.
for me, I just try to let them know, hey, listen, this is the situation. If you don't like what you have, you can either return it, or we can
Right.
exchange, we can fix it for you, or we'll
Right.
give you your money back. Like it's not a big hassle, to be honest with
Right.
you, because I don't have the inventory to keep swapping out hoodies, right? Because I got to
Right.
keep re up and
Yep.
doing all of that. So
Exactly.
I try to get it right the first time. So
Oh, of course, of course. But what I'm saying is like, some people need to understand that you are a small business, that you
right,
don't have 20 employees, just for customer service. You don't have,
right,
30 employees on the assembly line moving stuff around, you know what I'm saying? That,
right,
just for people to try and understand as a small business owner that yes, like I said, you have great customer service. There's no doubt about that, right? But people have to understand too that life happens and things happens. Maybe something slipped, while you were looking through 50 emails, you know, and
right.
stuff like that, So just I guess my take on, yes, you have great customer service, and as a person who likes to shop. I
you know,
appreciate that, right? I
it's true.
appreciate
I mean,
that. But
and it's funny
people
because when you messing around with money, and I think that's what it boils down to. Like,
yeah,
I paid $65 for that. I want it this way. And
right.
listen, I get it. That comes with
The territory.
running, especially especially running a clothing line. It
Yeah,
comes with that territory.
right.
But the good thing is that if you look at our Google reviews, even from people that don't know us that I just met, and let me start here. So since I started this, I've met amazing people.
That's nice.
People that've never seen me, um, probably person to person, but understand and they get a feel of wow who I am.
Right.
And when I tell you, I met amazing, amazing people, like super down to earth, cool. They hit me
Nice.
up. They want to meet me. I did a podcast with I don't know if you saw it with this podcast called On the Stacks with Bill. His name
Yes.
is Bill.
Yes.
And
That was great. That was a great podcast. I saw that.
yeah, man, and he made me feel at home. I've never met him.
Right.
We met for the first time and we just hit it off like we was super cool, man. Like I've
Nice.
known him for a long time. And those are the type of things that Jazz Ray has brought to light for the stuff that I'm doing.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that for me, I take that, I take that to heart because is
Of course.
you get to really love, you get to see the love that people show you for doing what you're doing. So
Right. And that's amazing, and the good thing is that when you start surrounding yourself with
mhm.
like-minded people, that's where you start to grow and continue to grow, right?
Right.
And sometimes people don't understand, it's nothing personal, right? But if you still want to stay where you're at and you're not thinking about evolving, then I'm sorry, I just can't. I
Right.
just
And that
can't.
you're
I can't. I'm not
absolutely
gonna stop being your friend. You know what
right.
I'm saying? I'll still be your friend, but I want more, right? And
Absolutely.
you have to get with people who are willing to be there when you feel low, right? That they
Mhm.
will lift you up when you feel low. So that way, they'll tell you, "Hey, you know what? Have your 15-minute pity party." Right. And, if you're upset, have those 15 minutes and then let's go. Let's get back on the horse. Let's get back on this train. Let's get back, to where we were at. Right. I think it's
Absolutely.
important. I think it's important really to have people like that,
And it's
and
true because and a lot of, I don't mean to cut you off, but a lot of the back stuff that people don't see is at the end of the day, look, I have a job, right? I still have a
yep,
job. I'm running my business. I'm also dealing with my dad who's not well, right? So I
right,
have to take care of him because I'm the only one here.
right,
And I have my family that I have to take care of.
right.
So with all of that being said, I'm still finding ways to balance all of that out
Exactly.
without causing any stress and trust me, it's stressful,
Oh,
but
of
I try
course.
not to let myself go there because I
Right.
know that at the end of the day, if I continue to keep doing what I'm doing, then
Mhm.
sky is gonna be the limit.
That's right. That's right. And sometimes you just have to take a day off. And there's nothing wrong with taking a day off, right?
That's my
'Cause
Sundays.
yeah, of course. And then yeah, I'm
Yeah,
the same way. I'm the same way.
yeah. Mhm.
Sometimes I'm having to edit and do other things. Like when I'm doing the podcast by myself, I do more editing than than when I'm speaking with somebody, you
If you're
know?
listening and
'Cause
you're like, "No, not this, not."
yes, because I'm such a critic of the things that I say, and sometimes I'm like,
Mhm.
"Coño, Elba, like, what the hell was that? Like, no, erase that shit."
You find yourself,
Right,
like, "What the hell did I just say?"
right, exactly. And but yeah, going back to, taking a day off, I think sometimes that hustle culture that they talk about,
Mhm.
no days off or working, all day, every day, hello, you're gonna burn out. So take
Absolutely.
your time to do your work, right? To do, like you said, you have a full-time job, you also have the Jazrae business, you also have your family. So as long as you keep yourself in a balance and balance yourself with everything that you have on your plate, you
Right.
should be fine. You should be
Right,
fine.
and I think that's where the growth, for me came from. So,
Right.
I don't have any animosity towards anybody anymore. I don't have anger. I don't have any of that.
Right.
I just opened myself up to myself. I found me, and when I say that is basically whatever issues anybody ever had with me or I had with them is over. Like
Right.
that's a personal issue now for
Right.
yourself. Because I'm just gonna love everybody, and I feel like when you start to do that, you start to see yourself growing, and when you grow, everything around you grows. So
That's right.
that's why my business. I like to say our business because there's people involved as well now.
Right.
So you could see the growth as it goes day by day and month by month. You start to see things that when you started, you not s- you wasn't there yet, because the
Right.
growth of starting the business and the growth within myself wasn't there.
Right.
And I'm seeing that now because from our last podcast, right? I
Yes.
launched the raised.
Yes.
We got a
The
couple things coming out.
sunglasses. You
We
had
got
the
the
sunglasses.
sunglasses, but you know what's funny? We got a couple things coming out. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna
Right.
say too much, but some sneakers, but um I'll sneak that in there. Like,
Right.
we're trying
Pay
to get
attention,
into
pay
like the
attention
sneaker.
to his socials.
Yeah, yeah. I got a couple things coming that I'm super excited about. And
Right.
I just want to see what angle we could take. And, like I
Yeah.
said, there's no limits to where I want to go, to what I want to do with the brand. I don't want to just stay stagnant on hoodies and t-shirts. I want to
Right.
expand it.
Right.
We do have the trademark is up in April, so we'll find out if the trademark for us
It's
it
gonna
went
change.
through. So far so good. So we waited the 10 months. Once the trademark comes, man,
Right.
it's gonna be beautiful. It's gonna be beautiful.
Nice.
So, but
Good.
I'm super excited, man. I'm super excited about what we're gonna do, and like I said, I'm working on some things like some sneakers,
Right.
and I know that's a tough thing, but I'm pretty positive about it, and we'll
Of
see how it
course.
goes.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes. So
Yeah, and I guess that goes into the question that I was gonna ask you about looking ahead. What are your goals and your aspirations, right? And
yeah.
so some of that is just growing the business to another level. And then
hmm
how do you plan to achieve those goals, right?
Right, and that's the $1 million question. I think now that we have, it is because I want to do some sneakers. Just
Nice.
because I feel like if you're gonna wear a t-shirt, a Jazz Ray t-shirt, you should wear the sneakers, that hat. You should be freshed out. So
Of
that's
course.
something that I'm looking at down the road.
Okay.
Also to achieve some of the goals, I think we got a team now that's hungry. they matching my energy, so we have
Nice.
meetings twice a week to discuss things. And
Nice.
once my cousin joined, I already had my business partner, AR. So big shout out to AR. Me and him sometimes we go at it because he's more like, yo, you do too much, but that's me.
Right.
But it's a respectful conversation, going
Right.
back and forth, which I love it. But
Right.
Ed, my cousin Ed jumping in, from
Yes.
Jersey, that
Yeah,
was
that's
just
good.
when I tell you it was the perfect time and a blessing. It is because I feel that this team that we're building,
Right.
um, and let me not forget about Glenn too, because
I was just
I
gonna
tell Glenn,
say
yeah,
Glencito.
older Glencito took a little bit of break, but
Okay.
the door's always open, so he just
Okay.
he needed to take a little break. But his father, Big Glenn, I
Okay.
tell him all the time, you don't have to do anything, you just gotta let me do anything you're already in. So
Right.
he laughs.
Right.
So
Right. Yeah.
um, but we
Hi,
building the
Glenn.
team. Yeah, right. But he's like my mentor. I talk to him every single day on my lunch breaks, and we
Okay.
talk and we discuss the brand and what we want to do. And so
Yeah.
it's constantly talking about that. and
That's good. That's good.
and
There's always, people always say, "Oh, I'm by myself," or, like, how do you what is it called? Um, oh, I can't even remember anyway.
like you.
Uh, it's like being like saying that you're doing everything by yourself, right? Of course,
Yeah.
you start by yourself, but
Hmm.
there's always um somebody there to help you, right? Like you're saying, you have Glenn as your mentor, you have your business partner right now. You
Right,
started
right,
off by yourself, also with your brother, right?
right.
We can't forget Pedro.
No.
But like you guys started it and stuff like that, and unfortunately, Pedro passed away, and then you started getting on your grind where you're like, okay, I got to do this regardless, right? Whether
Yeah,
you
because
see it or
believe it or
not,
not, that I say it all the time. That kind of gave me
the motivation
uh
to
yeah,
step
because
up.
because and if you notice, every time I do something, either whether is something that you probably not catching, but it's always revolved around him
Right.
because I feel that that's the only thing that's gonna keep him alive. His legacy got to live forever. So
Yes.
why not live it through something that could become successful and people understand? Hell, wow, your brother was in this. Yeah, he's in everything. So,
Right. Of
um,
course. Yeah.
and that's the motivation that I have to keep going all the time. I
Right.
think people understand my story. I think people understand that I'm genuine, and
Exactly.
and that's why I get the support that I get, and I
Of-
meet the people that I've never met that tell me, "Hey, listen, man, it feels like I've known you forever, man. You're just a cool dude." And that came with
Right.
growth. Trust
Of
me, because it took a long time, because I was a knucklehead, and and I did things different than how my brother did it.
Right.
So he was more caring. I was caring, but in a different way.
Right.
But I'm
And
learning from
everybody's their own person, right?
right, right,
And you can't compare yourself to your brother, and your brother can't compare himself to you, because you are your individual. You are who you are, right?
right.
But the good thing is that through um and I don't want to talk so much about, his passing,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
through his passing,
Hmm.
you were able to grow and do things differently, right? And
Right.
that's what's most important. You were able to grow, because some people don't grow
No,
regardless,
no, and
right?
and and that's you're right, and that's why I said, I've buried a lot of hatchets with a lot of people. Without even speaking about it anymore, I just, I
Right,
welcome them and open arms, and I don't even think about yesterday. We moving forward.
right.
I like I said, I have a lot of goals that I want to do for the brand. I want to make sure that the brand is in position for one day for my kids to take over. And I say that all the time. And
Yes,
anybody that's helping me and their kids, because it's a
of course.
family business at the end of the day. And I say that all the time. And
Yes. Yes, I
and
agree.
and when I do stuff, I do it with the interpretation of, you know what, these kids one day will have this, and whatever they want to do with it, it's there.
Right. And it's a
And
pride, it's pride in you and who you are and what you've done to elevate this business, right? So
yes.
that if your kids decide that they want to keep running the business, then they can. And if they decide that they want to sell off the business, then they can, you know.
And it's
Hopefully,
funny because I tell them this all the time, is anybody could do this. If you put your heart into it, anybody could do this.
right.
Where it becomes where everybody can't do it is when you're grinding. It's the grind
Yes.
inside it. Now, it's the putting yourself out there. It's the making a design and hoping that people like it. You gotta have tough skin.
Yes.
And when you mess, especially when you mess around with clothes, because let's face it, my
Yep.
type of clothes is probably not for everybody,
Right. And
right?
you
But
also go ahead. I'm sorry.
and I was gonna say my goal is to make sure that it is for everybody.
Right.
But unfortunately, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah. And it's like everything else. Like my podcast is not going to be for everybody. Everybody's not going to want to listen to my podcast, you know?
Right, and
But,
but it'd be the same people that don't do a podcast that would
right.
judge the podcast,
Right.
right? Right. So you don't have a
Right.
podcast, but you telling me how to run the podcast or how it
Right.
sounds or how it looks. So it's one of those. It's a weird
Yeah.
situation.
And it is one thing to get constructive criticism again with my
Right.
podcast. If they tell me, "Hey, you know what, Alba, you should, elevate your microphone or this and that." That's fine, right? But then there's people who are going to be like, "Oh, this is bullshit. I don't want to hear what, people's journeys and stuff like
Mm,
that." You know what I'm
right,
saying?
right, right, and
And
that, yeah,
and
absolutely.
and at the end of the day, this is what I always say to myself. Whenever I want to procrastinate on doing this podcast, I say to myself, you know what, Alba? You prayed about something that would be beneficial um, for somebody out there, right? I said,
Right.
you prayed for God to give you something that is going to be meaningful, right? And
Mhm.
for me, I feel like this podcast is for those who need it. And God is the one that's going to bring those people. And whoever doesn't
And
want
it,
to
and
listen
it's
to
it's
it,
for you. It's for you as well. Because
right,
you took this journey and said, I want to start something, and you
right,
here now. And the more that you start doing it more, you're gonna understand. Hey, wait a minute. This is becoming something, and I was just doing it for somebody else, but in reality, this is for me to give a platform to somebody. So
yes,
it's gonna always start with you,
right,
and you know me, I always promote your stuff whenever you put something
yes,
out. I share it
thank
because I
you.
know the grind that you going through to
Right,
make this happen, right? Because you told
right,
me in the first podcast you was like, "Oh, I don't know," because I was shy and
right. Right,
right,
yes, and let me tell you something. Again, I am very critical about myself, right? And so a lot of the times I have to say, "You know what? Let it go, girl. Let it go.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
not that
because
serious."
you're
Yeah,
only critical, right, based on
right,
opinion. So
right.
when opinion starts to roll through your head, like those people, she got a podcast, what she got to talk about. When that starts to play in your mind, it gives you a little bit of insecurity, like, do I really
Yeah,
want to do this?
right.
Um, so just keep going. I mean,
Yes,
I was when I did that podcast with Bill, and I saw and he showed me pictures of how he started
right.
to where he's at. It was like, he did that on his own. Like he
Of
started from a
course.
little room. Oh man. And that in itself is inspirational because you say to yourself, when you start to do something, it never stays like it was day one.
Right,
It
right.
always grows. It always grows. So
Yes. It's true, it's true, and I've
Mhm.
grown. I don't listen to my old podcast because I cringe, right? Cringe. But, I know that it has grown because of
Mm,
people who have told me, "Oh, wow, I like this episode. Oh, I enjoyed this episode," and blah, 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 blah. And that's how I
mhm.
know. But I try not to go back too much, like from
Right,
the beginning. Like I started this in 2021. And again, I was like up and down, up and down, up and down because I'm talking to myself and I'm being critical to what I'm saying.
right,
So,
right.
it was kind of like a little bit hard for me. And then I was like, you know what? I said, you prayed about this. So you need to, God opened up, the doors for you
Mm,
to do these things. So you need to get off your high horse.
go do it, and you gotta
Go
look
do
at it
it.
like this. But look at it like this too: is if I was starting a podcast right now, I wouldn't even know where to even start. The fact that you knew how to program your stuff on all these platforms, right? And how to get the microphone. You got to look at all of that because
Yes,
if it's that easy, then everybody would do it.
this is correct.
And you're right, because if I start a podcast right now, I wouldn't even know how to put it on Spotify or Apple. I don't even know if you have to pay for it. Like none of that stuff I know. So the
Right.
fact that you're doing it
Yeah.
is is why you got to give yourself a lot of props, So
Thank
just
you,
stick
thank
with it. I
you.
think I think it's going to be something.
Yes,
Uh,
yes.
and
I gotten a few people who have hit me up and say, "Hey, I wanna talk about this," and I was like, "Awesome." I was like, "Yes, of course,"
yeah.
I have
And
no
even reach
problem.
out to them. I mean, you're gonna get a lot of no's,
Yep,
but reach out to them and reach out to small businesses that you follow. Say, hey, you guys want to come
right.
on my platform to talk about your business?
Yes,
Because remember, they come on your platform. You don't have to have 10,000 people listening to. If you
right,
have 20 people, that's 20 people that business does not have.
right. That's right.
So, so it's not about who's listening. It's just about who's attracting your show for them to come on there and say, you know what, I could take 20 of your people. If I come on there, yeah, absolutely, let's do it.
Yes. Yep.
So
That's great. That's great advice. Thank you. I appreciate
it is. I mean,
that.
it's the truth. And I always looked at it like that. Like sometimes you go on Instagram or Facebook and you see these people with 15,000, you know,
Yeah.
followers, but it's four people liking their photos. You know what I mean? So,
This is true,
so
this is true. But you know
you
what's
know what
so
I mean?
funny? What's so funny? Because I was I think it was a podcast I was listening to, something that listen, I'm constantly educating my mind, right? So anyway,
Hmm.
to make a long story short,
Yeah.
one person was talking about, would you rather have 15,000 followers, right?
Hmm.
And not know, anything about you, or, they're assuming what they know about you and stuff like that. Or would you rather have 500 who you can interact with, and
Hmm.
you're able to interact often with them, right? Because when you have a million people on you can't interact with everybody, and
No.
then you have those people who are behind the keyboard, who are hating on you just because they don't get their asses up. Excuse my French. They don't get their asses up to do something for themselves, right? But they want to criticize that other person. They want to, put them down and stuff like that,
Right,
So I think
right, and
I think it does for me, as long as I can reach somebody, I'm not worried about the numbers. I'm just not.
right, and that's the big thing too is that stuff just comes along with it, and I think I said this. I don't do this for the money. Yeah, the money does come with it, and of course you need money to run the
Mhm.
business. But all that stuff is not a priority when you're doing it because that already comes with it. You
Right.
understand? Like when you if you got 500 people that follow you and
Right.
they interact with you, what do you think those 500 people are going to do when they interact with you? They're going to tell somebody else that's going to interact with you. So now you got 501,
Yep.
502, 5. You see, opposed to 15,000 people you don't know.
Right.
So
Exactly.
I kind of get that aspect of things. So,
Yeah,
and like I said, I'm always on Facebook. Why am I always on Facebook? Because I like to interact with those people, and those people interact with me.
of
You
course.
know, I could go
Yeah.
through my messages, and there's people that I've never met in my life that
Who
message
support
me and
you.
love what I'm doing,
Right. And they support you.
and they
Sometimes,
support me, and that's the biggest thing is the support. And I tell them this: what clothing brand you know, right? That's reachable. You
right.
can't call Nike and say, "Hey, I want this on this shirt that I just bought."
Exactly. Exactly.
That that's what separates us. And even if we get big, that's
Right.
always going to be the route that we take. Is that we want to touch the people. We want to make sure that we just not selling things that we like. We want to sell things that you like to make
That's
it
right.
comfortable for you. Because don't everybody want to be a designer,
Exactly.
right? When you put something on, you getting fresh. You want to make sure it matches. You know
Right.
that little stuff is critical to what we do as a brand. So.
Right. And yeah, of course, you always want you want to look nice. You want to represent, and some people, you know, are there to help you, right?
Hmm.
They're there
Right.
to give you that feedback, and that's important because if you're a small business and you're not accepting feedback, then you're gonna
Yeah.
be
Then.
doomed after a while, right? Because you're just
Right.
thinking
Yeah.
about
Right. Right.
yourself. So
Yeah.
that's good that you always ask people, and I always see that on your Facebook, and stuff like that. I have to be better about posting on my social media. Sometimes I just go in there, I scroll and I get out, but I'm
That's
like, listen,
it.
I need to create some content over here. I think
uh,
I need to work on doing stuff on Canva because Canva I have their pro account and
hmm.
you are able to have it posted onto your socials, right? But
Right.
yeah, I just gotta make time to play around with
And
that.
it's fun. Because I saw you too. I saw you had some t-shirts that you would.
Yes.
Yeah. See, that's
Yeah.
dope because that goes along with your podcast.
Yes, it does. It does. And I
Mm.
also have tote bags that I started, so I'm gonna be posting those up there as well. You know, I'm doing For me, the t-shirts are more like, some fun, sarcastic things that people can use. And then, my podcast merch that's gonna be coming out soon as well. So, you know, like I said, I gotta keep going. And like you said, there's, behind the scenes is one person
Yeah. Yeah.
trying
And
to do
and
everything all at once,
and
you know?
but you doing it, and when you did the t-shirt thing, I thought that was super dope because I said, wow, she's thinking outside the box because you have the podcast. That's
Right,
what other way to better promote your podcast than here's a t-shirt.
right. That's
I
right.
mean, it doesn't get better than that. So I thought that was super dope, man. I
Yes.
hope you continue that because
Thank you.
you have the name, you got the logo, so
Yes.
you
Yes,
got to
yes,
make it
yes.
happen. So,
Yes, thank you. Okay, and
mm,
so for our closing question, what advice would you give to aspiring entrepreneurs looking to enter the apparel industry based on your experience?
stay true to who you are. Um, Make sure you form a good support system around you. Never give up, no matter what people say. Never get down on yourself when you think it's not going the way you want it to. Stick with it. That's one of my biggest things is sometimes we have days that I'm not doing anything. I get a little frustrated, but then I bring myself back to reality where it's like, you know what? Just keep working, keep grinding. It's gonna happen. It's gonna come. Um,
Yes,
and love everybody, man. For real. You know how powerful love is, man. That's something that I've learned, man. And that when you stay true to yourself and you love hard,
right,
sky's the limit. Sky's the limit. And support everybody.
right.
Don't compete with other people. Compete with
Yes.
yourself, right?
Oh my
You
God,
know,
you're
and
so on point with that. Yes,
and it's funny because I say this all the time. Instead of pointing the finger, look in the mirror. You
right.
know,
Ooh, I love
and
that. Hey, put that
right.
on a t-shirt.
And hey, watch it. Why you never know? You never know. Those little quotes might be coming. But I
Yes.
say that all the time. People, it's quick, and you know why I say that too is because it goes back to people always would be like, "Well, that's not good. That's not good." But then they look in the mirror and they not
Yep.
doing the things that they pointing at.
Right.
So that's something that I would say. Biggest thing is just stay with it. Um, don't get discouraged. Just
Right.
remember that if you're coming up, you don't have the resources that these big companies have.
Right.
And but what you could have is you're authentic. Just be real. Just know that you're gonna stick with what you're selling. And I
Right.
think that's worked out for us. And like I said, I got a lot of good things coming. That's gonna motivate me to be like, okay, you know what? Yeah, I'm not afraid to take this step. I want to do sneakers. I want to do sunglasses, which I'm already am. I want
Right.
to, I want to roll out the tank tops. I want to do the t-shirts. I want to do the hats and all of that
Nice.
stuff. I want to do, in time, of course, slowly, but
Yeah,
that would
little
be
by
my
little.
my advice to anybody. Stick with what you want to do. Have a game plan. Have a nice team of support around you, and sky's gonna take you to that limit. So
Yes,
we
for
also
sure.
we have a logo called Jazrae Limit. Um,
Nice.
that I it's on the website. A T-shirt. So we put Jazrae Limit, and it's also
Okay.
on some varsity jackets that we will be releasing sometime in September. So I've been on the sample size of those. So if we
Okay.
could strike a deal with those and
Yes.
everything works out, man, sky's the limit. I'm telling
I
you. I'm
know,
telling
I
you. I'm
can.
excited. I'm excited.
And like September's a great time because that's when the jackets start coming out and stuff like
Yeah, and it's
that.
a
Oh,
light varsity jacket, wool with two pockets inside. So we're working
nice.
on that. And they just got to give us a good deal because I don't.
No, of course, yeah, you
And
you gotta make a profit too.
yeah, yeah, and you got to wheel and deal, and that's why I haven't really done a lot of kid stuff.
Right,
Because I got to get out the mentality of I don't like to charge kids, 40,
for
$50.
right.
But,
I get it. Yeah,
so when the time
and
is right, we'll go to that.
yeah, yeah, because I know sometimes they have, like, the dad and son or the mom and the daughter,
Right, right.
where they have their outfits and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. Yeah, that is awesome, and, I think sometimes people don't understand that, they're not the big companies, and don't compare yourself to anybody. Don't compare yourself
Nobody. That's
to
right.
nobody's business. Don't compare yourself to
Mm-mm.
nobody's social media numbers.
Right,
Don't
because we
compare
one day you
yourself.
never know, and one day you never know, you might become that big business.
Right.
So when I say these big businesses is you got to understand that once they get so huge, sometimes they forget about the beginning.
The
And
little
for
people.
me,
Yeah.
even if we get that big, right? And
Right.
now I pray to God all the time that I would love to get that big, is that I
Right.
would never forget where I came from and I'll never forget day one because that's who I am.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't, money don't make me and money don't change me.
Right, exactly,
So
exactly. That's awesome.
it's
Well,
just good
thank
to have.
you. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you
Yeah.
again for giving us the updates. I can't wait to see all the merch that's coming out. I can't wait to see
Yes.
the new
Thank you. Thank
sunglasses that
you.
are coming out. I'll
Yeah,
be
I
watching.
will. I know, and thank you for having me again, for having
Yes.
us. Um, but be on the lookout. I'm gonna say sometime probably May. I'm gonna release the sneaker once it's completed.
Okay.
And it's from the bottom to the top, all designed by me. So,
Nice.
I don't want to bite nobody else's sneakers. I just want to make something that's
That's
cool to
something.
us. So,
Yes. And then
so
let us know your socials so that way they can go and follow you.
yes, so Jazrae Wear is the Facebook with a space between the Jazrae and the Wear. At Jazrae Wear, that'll take you to the IG. And we have the website, which is jazraewear.com. That's where you can go ahead and order, and pretty easy to do.
Okay.
Websites 1,000% secure. So we pay money for that. So,
Yes, yes. And then
because when
Jazrae
Jazrae
is
Wear,
Jazrae, so that they
yes,
know. So because sometimes people may think
Jazr,
why.
yes,
So
you're right.
Jazrae, where
Wear
W
wear.com.
yes.
Also, you can email us on any custom hoodies that you want at sales@jazzraywear.com. So we
Oh,
do have our at Jazrae Wear now. So that's another
nice.
thing that we worked on that we finally got done. So that's super dope. We could use our own at Jazrae
Yes,
Wear.
that's awesome. I can't wait to start doing that myself soon.
Right. And we're working on, instead of sending us, paying through Cash App, Zelle, stuff like that, we're working on invoices to just send directly to you. So you
Nice.
pay right through that invoice and make it
Oh,
easier
that's
for the
awesome.
customer. So
That's awesome. That's great news. Oh
mm.
my God, you guys have grown. You
I
guys have
know, man, and that's the fun part, man. And it's the little things that I
right.
get excited about. The things that I didn't know that I'm starting to know. And again, thanks to the team. Without them, this would not be possible. So thank you, Ed, for coming in and showing us the ropes on that end. Thank you, AR, for stepping in and looking into, researching business accounts and stuff like that we're getting into. And thank you, P from Heaven, who made me do the trademark the last day I saw him. The next
Yes,
day he called me and he made me do the trademark. So I went ahead and did it. Now we just waiting for for the reply. And if
yes,
everything's good, man, that's just gonna be it. So
yes. Blessings on top of blessings.
yes,
That's
yes.
awesome. That's awesome. I'm
So
so happy for you. I'm so happy for your brand. I'm happy to see all the new things that you got coming.
yeah,
And
I'm excited.
like always, I wish you the best and
And
keep
don't forget too,
growing.
we also I forgot to mention this, I'm sorry.
You're
We
fine.
also on the works of doing socks. So yes, I
Okay.
almost forgot about that because the lady emailed me yesterday and she introduced me to the socks game and we working on that. So and the
Awesome.
slippers. And the
And
slippers.
slippers. All
Yes,
right. That's what
yes.
I'm talking
So
about.
there's we got so much going on that I tell you, I can't even wrap my head around it. But yes, we're
That's
working on some
right.
sneakers, some slippers, some socks, and again, that wouldn't be possible without the support that we get, to be honest with you.
That's
So
right.
um
Yeah. That's
so that's how
awesome.
we grow. So
That's right. That's right. And you know what? Never give up on getting something new, even if it's, a different slipper or, different socks, maybe the short
yeah,
socks, maybe the knee-high socks or whatever. All those things that are coming out now, as long as you're making it unique to your brand, I
right.
know for a fact you guys are going to continue to grow. So I'm happy
And
for
last
you
but and
guys.
last but not least as well, thank you for having us and big shout out to my kids who are super supportive now and and I
Awesome.
say now because they old enough to do their own thing, but
Right.
they take the time to let me know that what I'm doing is dope. So,
That's
appreciate
awesome.
that. So I appreciate that. So big up to little Carlos,
Yeah.
Lonnie, and Jazzy. So this is why we do it. So
Awesome. Awesome. And your wife,
mm,
Nicole, who
yes.
supports everything what you do, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Awesome.
So,
Thank you so much, Carlos. I appreciate it. And again, many blessings, that I support you 100%. And I'll be sharing your stuff out there as soon as I see
yes,
them coming through.
yes. So, thank you, and be on the
You're
lookout
welcome.
for that stuff because it's coming.
Okay. I can't
Right.
wait.
All right. Thank you,
All right.
Alba.
All right. Have a good one, Carlos.
You too.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us. I hope you have a wonderful day. And again, thank you, Carlos, for sharing your story, your update about Jazrae Wear. I can't wait to see everything. And guys, if you like this episode, please share it with others. I would greatly appreciate it. Bye.